I was so sure that I had gotten this job until the interviewer froze at my answer. I thought I nailed it. But guess what? That one mistake cost me the job, just like it's costing you too. And you don't even know it. Hi, my name is Obinna, and you are welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know I had said a couple of videos ago that I wasn't going to shoot more content around job hunting and interviews and all that good stuff, but here I am today because you guys asked. So thank you for asking. I'm not sure I'll do more after this, but never say never at this point, right? So interviews aren't just about answering questions. It's about saying the right things in the right way. But don't worry, I've studied several interviews and found some of these mistakes that cost people the job. I will be sharing my experience as well as the experience of my friends who have gone through this job hunting process. And I will be giving you the ultimate cheat sheet to ace your next interview. Let's get right into it. So, common mistakes candidates make at interviews. Number one, talking too much. Remember in my last video, I mentioned that I practiced the question, tell me about yourself. Like it used to take me about 7 minutes-ish, but I was able to crunch it down to about 3 minutes. That is how to avoid talking too much. I've heard of people come into interviews and they ask them this very question and they answer it like this. Well, I was born in Lagos, but I schooled in Canada, and then I went back and worked for a multinational. In fact, I've worked for 3 companies now. And you know I like cooking. Wrong. Don't do it. For instance, if you get that kind of question, you can answer like this. I have 5 years of experience in cybersecurity, specializing in supplier risk management. In my role, I matured the company's supplier risk management process, especially their ongoing monitoring and offboarding processes, thereby reducing the company's risk exposure by 40%. You see how simple and short that is, right? And then it kind of leaves room for more questions. Don't go there and start rambling about things that aren't relevant to the interview at hand. Mistake number 2, saying I don't know. You don't know, okay? Instead of saying I don't know, a better way to answer a question you don't know the answer to is, that's a great question actually. Although I haven't done that exactly, here's how I would approach it. And then you give your answer to the question. Please don't say I don't know, because it just makes you look like you are unserious, you don't know how to apply yourself, and you're a complete waste of time. Have something to say even if you don't have an idea. Cook up something, think of something, be as creative as possible. And it's okay not to have all the answers at an interview. Nobody knows it all. But the ability to show that you can speak to a situation even when you don't have anything to say shows that you can apply yourself, okay? Don't say I don't know, please. Mistake number 3, not having energy in your voice. If you're not going to look like you're enthusiastic to be there, so why are you there in the first place? They ask you, oh, why did you apply for this role? What do you like about this company? And all you can answer is, I'm very passionate, very monosyllabic, and you keep quiet. Just know that you can't even get that job. So if you hear that kind of question, I mean, why did you apply? You can answer like this. I love what XYZ company is doing. I've been following your work on how to improve security for developers, and it sounds really interesting to me. I especially like the way you're trying to incorporate AI into app security. Now that's more like it. And you can even add, I'm interested in bringing my skills to this team. Now tell me, if you're an interviewer, wouldn't you want to continue to hear more from this person? Mistake number 4, not researching enough about the company. Imagine they ask you, so tell me how you heard about this company. Please do not say, actually, I don't know much about this company. You'll most likely not get the job. If you get that kind of question, you can say something along the lines of, that's a good question. I was drawn to the company because of its customer and employee centric values. I especially love how the company's mission includes deep trust and care for our customers and employees, and how the product impacts their daily lives. Simple and short. So, mistake number 5, the question, why should we hire you? Don't go and say, I really need this job, please help me. Nobody's going to give you a job with that kind of response. And I know that nobody is crazy enough to, answer that way, but you'd hear things like, I'm trying to increase my salary. My salary is not enough in the current job that I'm doing. Or something as ridiculous as, I think I deserve more, and leave it at that. Please don't do that. You can say something along the lines of, because I have great cloud computing skills and have a track record of bringing XXX value to my current company, I can help the company achieve its goals. Now, the truth is, the company really doesn't care about your personal goals. Maybe they might sound interested, but they really want to know how your personal goals align with theirs, how you can benefit them. Don't go there and tell people, I need more money, I'm very desperate at this time. Please be careful. Practice this particular question over and again. You need to sound as intelligent as possible. Mistake number 8 I see people make, not asking questions, or asking one very random question that you obviously did not practice. I know I mentioned this in my previous video or in one of my other videos. Please don't do that. Don't say, I don't have any question when they ask you any questions, or you just, pick up some random thing off of the internet and ask. Prepare properly for this phase of the interview, because it must come. They will always ask if you have questions. You can ask something along the lines of, what does success look like in this role after 6 months? What would you like for somebody in this role to achieve within that timeline? Always have at least 3, 4 questions to ask, relevant questions to the role, to the situation. Don't go and ask questions out of context, all in the name of asking questions. They will know that you did not properly prepare. Listen when the interviewer speaks, so that you can note down things to ask from the things that they mentioned. That is how they know that you are following along on the conversation. The next mistake, overusing buzzwords. As in, I can't even imagine somebody going for an interview in 2025 and going there to say, I'm a hardworking, dedicated team player. You know the way we used to write CVs in those days, where they will ask you for your skills and you say, I'm a team player, I'm a critical thinker, and all those, soft skills. Please, I know I'm digressing, but please don't do that in your CV today. I mean, you can, properly word it in the highlights of your CV if it's one of your soft skills, but please don't just, write those one-liners like we used to write CVs back in the day. Now, back to the point at hand. Using buzzwords like that can be very, very annoying. We all know you're a team player. We all know you're a hard worker, but how can you convey this without sounding so cliche? To a question asking more about yourself or your skills, you can answer like this. I thrive in fast-paced environments and have successfully led projects that improved efficiency by 30%. Now, that is a better way to show that you are hardworking, you are a team leader, you are dedicated to your work without sounding ridiculous. Mistake number 8, being too modest. Now, if they ask you a question, you don't want to begin your answer with, I don't want to brag, but, please don't do that. Funny thing is, a lot of these employers like people that sort of brag without sounding like they are bragging, if that makes sense. So if you want to answer a question of some accomplishment or achievement from your previous role, you can answer like this. I'm proud of the fact that I single-handedly improved the company's security posture by 15%. That really had a huge impact on my last company. You see that you share your pride in the work that you did without sounding too modest or sounding arrogant. Mistake number 9, And I know that this one is typically overlooked because a lot of people just want to do their interviews and, get on with their lives, or they have gotten too relaxed that they forget certain important but not very obvious things. Please and please always have a closing statement for your interviews. Don't end your interviews with, okay, thanks for your time. Bye. Hoping to hear from you. Please don't do that. You don't sound excited to hear back from the interviewer. Instead, say, I'm really excited about this opportunity. Based on our discussion, I believe that my skills in cybersecurity would add some value to your team. And you close like that. You see how simple it is? They know that you are serious about your interest in the job and would want to give you some form of feedback, even though you're not even choosing for the role. So there was this interview I attended, and I asked certain questions that I kind of knew that the person interviewing me at that stage might not necessarily have the answers to. And the way he responded was, oh, I will let XXX know to give you some feedback on that particular point. So that told me from that interview that I was going to hear back from somebody, whether or not I was chosen. Thankfully, I was chosen for that job. Mistake number 10, ignoring nonverbal communication. This one, I find that maybe because of our cultural differences, people don't really know how to read the room or understand people this side of the world. At interviews, look interested in what you're there for. I know I've said this before, but I have to repeat it. Sit up straight, make eye contact, nod while you are listening, and smile when you have to. This life is not hard. These very simple things might just be the thing that would open the doors for you. Maybe that interviewer had interviewed had interviewed 5 people before you, and the 5 people didn't seem very interested, or their body language showed that they wanted to be elsewhere, that is more important to them than at that interview. Your presence, being present at that interview, showing that you're interested, and smiling, carrying on a decent conversation, showing that you are actively listening, can be what would make or break your interview. If the person is being formal, be as formal as possible. If the person is being business casual in their tone, by all means, match that tone, right? Read the room and flow on the same level as your interviewer. This is important. Okay, now that we're done talking about the mistakes that a lot of candidates make at interviews, I'll be sharing some surefire tips on how to succeed at your interviews. Now, like I said just now, match the interviewer's energy. This one can make or break your interview. Keep reading the room and matching them anyhow they're going. If they want to talk about, oh, it's been a hectic day, don't overstretch the conversation and make it overly casual. Match them at that point. Oh, really? It's been crazy here as well. I just hope Friday comes along, and everyone will be like, right, okay, let's move on to the next topic. As opposed to you now trying to make it even more casual. Or the person is talking about, okay, tell me how you conduct risk assessments in your role. And then you're trying to, talk about, in fact, I used to water my plants. Match your interviewer. Don't talk out of point. Don't talk out of mood. If you're struggling in your storytelling skills, I would recommend that you choose an interview methodology. Now, a lot of people recommend the STAR method, and that is the one I will be mentioning here. Now, STAR means situation, task, action, result. Now, it's a form of storytelling. You're going to create or talk about a situation where, for example, how you resolved a conflict in your team. That would be the situation. And then you mention your task as it relates to that situation, and then the action you took to resolve that conflict. And finally, the result, how your action impacted or improved that conflict or whatever situation it is. It really helps. And as you go along, as you get better and better at your storytelling, you can choose to, choose some other methodology or just go with the flow. Personally, because I like to talk, it's difficult for me to stick to a particular method. I just go with the flow. That's how I do it, and it has always worked for me. Now, if you really, really want to land that job, I recommend that you tell stories with numbers. Always back your claims with metrics. Interviewers like to hear, oh, I did this and it improved by 5%. I did this and it improved this process by 10%. I did that and it contributed to sales by 20%. They like to hear numbers. So in your CV, try to include those numbers, sprinkle them in several places. Now, don't overdo it. And also, while you're speaking, talk in numbers, tell your stories in numbers. I don't know why, but human beings are impressed by numbers, whether the person you're speaking to is lying or not. So tell your stories with numbers. I did mention this before, but it would be nice to follow up with a thank you email. And as I mentioned, I haven't done this before, but I know 3 people that it has worked for. You have a higher chance of getting a response when you send out these thank you emails. Don't take it for granted. It might just be what will, get your foot in the door. Again, practice, practice, practice before your interview. Practice before a person, and more importantly, practice on camera. This one sounds ridiculous, but stick with me. I need you to watch yourself answer likely questions and fix your mistakes. One funny thing is a lot of people, when they are listening, when they are not actively talking, they are not able to maintain whatever poker face they think they are maintaining. Now, some people, the natural state of their face is to look bored. Some people, the natural state of their expression is to look angry. And it is not intentional. So it's not just answering the questions right, it's also looking like you are present and in the right mood for the situation. Now, stay in front of the camera, make as many mistakes as possible, fix your mistakes, and also fix your face. Very important. By the way, practicing in front of the camera, especially these days that most of the interviews are remote and you'll likely be in front of the screen anyway, makes you see yourself in live action. Don't forget, while you practice, time yourself and continue to reduce the time that you spend on each point as much as possible. Remember, I mentioned that I lost a job because of a particular mistake. The mistake was not knowing the tool that my company used for that particular role. And this boils down to doing proper research about the role, about the industry, about everything. And now this is me confessing to the whole world in front of the camera. I was working at a particular company, but in a slightly adjacent role, and I wanted to pivot to another role. Now I was requesting in my company to pivot, but they did not, attend to my request, and that was why I was leaving. Fast forward to this interview, they then asked about the tool that my organization used in the role I wanted to pivot to. Ladies and gentlemen, I did not pay enough attention to know the tools that other department I wanted to pivot to used. And so I mentioned another random tool. And the crazy part was the person who was interviewing me used to work in that previous role that I wanted to pivot to, and was like, what? Excuse me? When she froze like that, in fact, there were 2 interviewers. When both of them froze, I knew that I had messed up. Now, this was an interview that was going so well. We were chatting like we were colleagues. I was 1001% sure that I had gotten this job. But when that mistake happened, she was like, you know what? I will get back to you. I will get back to you. I wasn't surprised when I received the rejection 2 weeks later. So, do your research. Find out everything you need to. Something as basic as the tool that they used in that role. Now, imagine how I felt at the time. I had answered every difficult question right, in the right way, in the right manner. Everyone had relaxed. We were having a conversation because we had time to spare after the interview, and just ruining it with this last piece. That thing pained me, but in all things, we give thanks. I'm sharing all of this so that you don't make the same mistakes that I made or other people have made when they were job hunting when they came here. Please and please inform yourself as much as possible. And remember, don't say I won't start job hunting until I have all the information right. You really and truly cannot get all your information together before you start. Start anyways. Do it afraid. You will make mistakes. It's absolutely fine. You might even look stupid sometimes. I remember when I came newly and I wanted to transition to another career, I interviewed for a role that was related to cybersecurity. And I know that I flopped that interview. Like I flopped it so bad. That was my first attempt. Tell me why, and it was a recruiter. Tell me why that recruiter, like a few minutes after the interview, would send me a job opening for a tractor driver. I mean, I applied for a role in cybersecurity. Ah, that thing shook my confidence. I will not lie to you. It pained me. I started thinking of my life. I started asking myself, was it a mistake? I mean, it wasn't the recruiter that sent it directly, but it was like I signed up to their job board. And imagine flopping so bad at an interview, and then after the interview, I'm now seeing apply for the role of a truck driver. And I'm like, God, what kind of nonsense is this? But guess what? It did not stop me from going for the next interview to flop again and the next one to flop again. But I kept on getting better and better until I landed the job that I wanted. Now, between when I made that first flop and the job that I finally got, all the interviews and all the madness happened in the space of 1 month. 1 month. So 1 month and how many jobs? I think I interviewed for I think 5, 6 jobs in that span of time, and I got one job in 2 months, as in between 1 month and the other. So go out there, make your mistakes, pat yourself on the back, be thankful for the lessons, and move. And I hope that you land your dream job. Now, if this video today resonated with you, please give this video a like so that the algorithm knows to push my videos to other people. Please let me know in the comments with the word awesome if you will be avoiding any of these mistakes in your next interview, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.